In this video, Aubrey, let us talk about, I think, somewhat of a controversial topic, and it's about time travel. And should it be allowed? In other words, theoretically, if it were possible, should people be allowed time travel? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely, unequivocally no.
Okay, so let me give you a
Unless
couple scenarios.
unless all we're doing is, like, putting a camera through and just observing, then, that might be a different conversation.
So let me give you a couple scenarios, and then we talk about it. Number one, correcting mistakes.
Have you read any time travel books or watched any time travel movies ever? It always makes it worse. Okay,
Okay.
look at the timeline where you tell me for sure that nobody went back in time and tried to fix something, and that's why we are where we are? It's terrible. The timeline we're in is bad.
Well, what about,
But
for
if we went back
example,
and fixed something, what if it made it worse?
okay, well, let's talk about something, life and death that you want to time travel back to save someone.
Yeah, and what if that guy turns out to be a serial killer? You don't know.
Okay, that is possible. But if you had that power, would you use it?
No, you don't mess with the timeline.
Okay, what if it's one of your pets? Would you use it? Wow. Whoa.
No.
Whoa, whoa. There's a little bit of shifting and thought
No,
there.
I would hate it, but no.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe if I could go back like an hour, but I'm not gonna go back like 10 years.
Okay.
But see, think about it though. I'm gonna turn this around. Have you ever thought about like if you could go back, and I'm not even gonna say go back to being a child, because then you'd have to go through puberty again, and that would just be cruel.
Yeah.
If you could go back to being 18 with all the information you have now, and there's no guarantee you'd retain it, would you do that?
The one thing is, I think there's a temptation to say yes, but you have no idea the cascading and effects of that decision. You might say, "Well, I'll correct this," but maybe that'll lead to some other negative outcomes that you weren't anticipating. You just don't know.
I have a list in my head of if I ever accidentally end up back in time, what investments I should make. But so, let's say I go back in time and I invest in Bitcoin, right? Back when it was easy.
Right.
So then I never work at the animal hospital I worked at, and I never get my cat because that's the only reason I got my cat.
Right.
Okay, so then I have to contrive a reason for me to get a job at that place,
Too
but I'm a
complicated.
Bitcoin person. So I don't qualify for this job anymore because I'm a crypto bro.
Well, let me shift it a little bit. Have you ever read the book Pet Cemetery by Stephen
Oh, yeah,
King?
I've read Pet Cemetery,
Okay, yeah,
spelled
he
with an
said
S.
that
Yeah.
book That book has a lot of, we're not gonna give the plot away, but that book
Okay,
has a lot of
but you're
twists
bringing
and
up
turns.
Stephen King. What you need to read is 11/22/63,
Okay,
where the
okay.
protagonist goes back in time to stop the Kennedy assassination.
Alright. Well, these are examples that, you mess with the timeline, you think you're gonna rectify something, and it leads to all kinds of other problems, but I'm sure we could talk more about this, but I appreciate you
Like
sharing some of the
like,
thoughts because who knows what will
are
happen.
we sure that the Large Hadron Collider didn't do something to this timeline? Like, are we sure that didn't happen? Like, someone didn't come back and was like, "No, don't turn it on," but then they made it worse, and here we are, and everything's terrible?
Well, what if you could just go back in time? You know what? I was at a restaurant and I just ordered this meal and it's really terrible. I just want to go back 15 minutes and reorder something else. Don't mess with the timeline.
And don't mess with the timeline, it's bad.
Okay. All
Plus,
right.
how's that gonna look? How's that gonna look? "Hey, hey, past me. Ah, what are you doing here? No, don't panic, it's me. It's you from me from the future. No, what are you doing? You from the future. What? Am I going to die? No, you cannot order the sushi because it will give you food poisoning. What? The sushi, it'll give me food poisoning. Now you've wasted all your time arguing with your past self about whether or not time travel exists."
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Aubrey, for those deep insights on how not to mess with the timeline.